Anandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Kashtashadeeshatari. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Rakshak Shridhar iti Nam Devam Divyatanam Suchandavanam Balarkachelanshikam Sandranam Guram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhyam Shri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhaktalasitam Saraswatanam Varam Vande Tam Shubhadam Malika Sharanam Nyashishwaram Shridhara. Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayati Namane Vancha Patpadurubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Itadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everyone. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat pranams, my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Asto Tarasata Shri Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. And then I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my beloved Siksha Gurudevs. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Astotarasata Shri Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Shridhar Goswami Maharaj, whose divine transcendental appearance day we are observing today. And then I offer my unlimited Dandavat pranams at the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shri Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj. My Dandavat pranams to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis in this assembly headed by Sri Dandi Sannyasi. So we have heard some very beautiful reflections and glorifications by a couple of the devotees who embraced the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Shridhar Goswami Maharaj in their heart and soul. So I want to speak about this divine personality who also had a very, very significant and profound effect in my spiritual life and in many hundreds, even thousands of devotees around the world. we should try to understand his specialities because he was a very unique and exalted personality. Amongst even the disciples of Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was very prominent. In many ways, he was very prominent. Particularly as a very great scholar of the Vedic Shastras, the divine Rasa Shastras of our Rupa Nuga Sampradaya. And he had a very keen and sharp intelligence, which was even noticed by Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who gave him a special, kind of like a little title when he first came to Gaudiya Math. He called him Shastra Nipun. Shastra Nipun means a spiritual genius of the Shastras. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj was actually born in Gauravandala, within the circle of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes in West Bengal, India. And he was, from his very childhood, he was very much inclined towards transcendental subject matters. There's a very nice conversation where he himself told about his own life, his childhood, whatever memories, but he can remember back even to his babyhood practically. He had a very amazing memory. He noted this fact. And actually I could speak for about an hour about all of his history, but I'm not going to dwell on that too much. But I just want to touch a few prominent points about his life. So that we can understand what kind of personality he was. You know that he was born in a Brahmin family, which were very orthodox, and they were followers of Lord Ramachandra. And from his early childhood, even within his family, especially in his maternal uncle's household, where he was sent for his education to reside there, he had one auntie, like a grandmother figure, and she used to read Ramayana and Mahabharata to him. So right from his early childhood, it was noticed that he had a very keen and sharp intelligence in his studies. But whatever he would read, he would remember. He studied Sanskrit, as many of the children did in those days, and he excelled very much, which later on developed into an extraordinary poetic ability, which is evident in his writings. Anybody that examines, especially Sanskrit scholars who examine the poetry and the various prayers and songs written by Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj in Sanskrit, they become very struck with wonder of his talent and his ability. And that poetic nature actually showed through even in other languages that he spoke, in Bengali, and even in the English language. He was very highly educated. He was educated in the area of law, to become a lawyer, in the British schools of India at that time, British universities. The British universities of India, during the time of Sri Mahatma Gandhi and the liberation movement of India, non-cooperation, non-violent, non-cooperation movement. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj, there was a whole other line going on. There was a whole other flow, like a current in his life. Actually, he completely became abnegated, self-abnegated from this world in his teens. He tells the story that once he was walking with a friend from one of his classmates, and he appreciated this friend very much because he was a religious person. Srila Sridhar Maharaj always was attracted to those who were dharmic, And not only was he dharmic, but he also was interested in helping others, doing charity work and helping others. This was very common in those days amongst the student class in India. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj created a very close relationship with him and companionship. And one day they were walking through a forest and they were discussing, and during that discussion, this young boy, he was a little bit younger, about 3 years younger than Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who was in the final class of the university. And this was a new person in the university, but because he had those qualities, Srila Sridhar Maharaj liked him. So they were walking along one day in the forest and they were discussing, and this boy started to refer to his own father as that gentleman. Now, to use the words, that gentleman, for your own father, is quite disrespectful in the culture, Vedic culture, Bengali culture. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj immediately, he said, why are you calling your father that gentleman? So then he said, yes, true, I probably shouldn't refer to him in that way. However, I understand that I have had many, many lifetimes in this world. And in this lifetime, that gentleman, who is currently my father, he has looked after me for some time. But in other lifetimes, I have met many other gentlemen who have also looked after me. So in this way, Srila Sridhar Maharaj was hearing this, and suddenly, a very extraordinary thing happened to him. He had a very, that struck him very deep in his intelligence, and he began pondering the question of existence, as sometimes all of us do. Who am I? Who am I in this vast universe? I'm simply a tiny little point in the infinite. Where is my position? Where do I belong? And in this way, he became completely overwhelmed with this kind of contemplation, which gradually became more and more deep-rooted within him, to the extent that he completely lost interest in anything of this material world. And this created a problem for his family members, because he was the eldest son, and he was sent through the university, and there were great hopes resting upon him that he would graduate, become a lawyer, and he would bring in so much maintenance for the family. But now, they became very concerned and worried, because Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he began to wear one piece of cloth, completely renounced. And he used to even go to the burning ghat, where the bodies are burned when they die. And he would contemplate, what is this world? How temporary is everything of this world and this life? So Srila Sridhar Maharaj was such a genius that even though he could not do his studies, and his final exam was coming after all these years and university and everything, so the family members and even his classmates became very concerned for him. And they started to think of a plan, how can we help him? So they sat him down and they began to just read to him what the studies were. They just read and read like this. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj, even in that condition, he understood everything. Then he went to the final exam, and when he took the final exam, he passed it with flying colors, and most of the students, they were slaughtered by this exam and failed. So this just goes to show some of the incredible intelligence and genius of this personality. So gradually, a book came to him about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He had not really read the life and the teachings of Mahaprabhu, because he was born in a different line. But when he read this book, now he said he found a philosophy of great substance, substantial knowledge, and great hope, and divine presentation of this personality, this unique, exalted Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who was famous as a historical personality throughout Bengal. But now his heart began to completely flow towards the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and he began to embrace his lotus feet in his heart, and he became converted fully as a Gauranga follower. So now, Srila Sridhar Maharaj began to contemplate that I need to find someone. I need to find a Gauranga Bhakta, a Vaishnava, from whom I can receive initiation into this line of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So he began to search here and there, and he came to one society. I forget the name of it. It was one of the religious, spiritual organizations of that time. There was one quite acharya figure of that organization. So he had a conversation with him about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that person told him, he said, yes, we accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But actually, first of all, you should follow the principles of Buddha, and you should follow the principles of abnegation. And then after you have done that, then you should go to Shankaracharya, and you should follow those principles. And then finally, to embrace the final path of praying, as Gauranga Mahaprabhu had said, yes, we accept that, you should go to him then. So then Srila Sridhar Maharaj told this person, he says, this is not what Gauranga Mahaprabhu has taught. He has not taught that first you should go to Buddha, and then you should go to Shankaracharya, and then you should come to him. No. He said, only what is necessary. Associate with the sadhus, associate with the Vaishnavas, take full shelter of those followers of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and accept the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. This is all that is required. So that person had to be defeated by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And then he said, Srila Sridhar Maharaj said to him, but if you can help me with any advice, where you think I can go to find such a Gauranga Bhakta who I can receive initiation from? And the man told him, actually I don't know. So then Srila Sridhar Maharaj left the place, and he was walking through Calcutta. At that time he was in Calcutta. And there, suddenly at the end of one road, he saw a placard, like an advertisement. Sri Gaudiya Math Mahotsav, big festival, Sri Gaudiya Math, for 1 month. And it was the name of a street called Ultadanga Junction Road. That was actually the place where Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he established Gaudiya Math. That was his first preaching center at that place. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj, this is in around 1925, Srila Sridhar Maharaj took note of the place, and then he went there to that place. He kept on contemplating it as the day was approaching for the festival, and then on that day he went there to that place. But when he came there, most of the people were gone. But there was one person standing outside on the street, and he told him, he said, yes, Guru Maharaj, that means Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he has gone for Harinam Sankirtan with all the Vaishnavas. So then Srila Sridhar Maharaj waited there, and within a few minutes, the Sankirtan party began to come. And from a distance he saw this effulgent figure carrying Tridanda in his hand, in the middle of the whole Sankirtan party. And as they approached closer and closer, Srila Sridhar Maharaj's eyes and gaze were fixed on him. And then, when they came right up to the temple, then one devotee came and took the danda of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj noted, he said, this personality, he is completely devoid of any attraction to anything of this material world. Totally transcendental personality. This was his internal impression. So then he came and began to attend this festival and to hear from Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, by and by, he realized, yes, I have found my place. I have found my people. But he wanted to meet the actual person, the actual figure who had started this movement. So then one day he went to the stairway leading up to Srila Prabhupada's room, and he wanted to go upstairs. but there was one person guarding, and he said, no, you cannot go up. And Srila Maharaj was prevented by him from going upstairs. And then at that time he thought, oh, what is this? Sadhus, they are acting like this? They're so harsh? Then I should not be here. But then suddenly, inside of his mind came a thought. He remembered in Mahabharata that Srila Shukadeva Goswami was sent by Srila Vyasadeva to go and meet King Janak Maharaj. And he was stopped at the gate. And he had to wait there 7 days. And then Janak Maharaj told, okay, now take him to the next gate. Then he was stopped at that gate and had to wait 7 days. And this went on for 7 gates times 7 days, 49 days. And finally he got to meet King Janak. So Srila Maharaj was thinking, oh, if there is something to be had here, if there is something of value, then I should be willing to undergo any difficulty, even if they beat me, I should remain here. So that's what he did, and he persevered in this way. So then one day he was able to actually go to the rooftop where Srila Prabhupada was walking after taking his midday meals. And he was just strolling on the rooftop. And he was at one side of the rooftop, and Srila Maharaj came and he sat on the other side of the rooftop. So then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada sent his servant to inquire. Then he said, ask him if he has come for any purpose. First of all, he said, ask him if he has something to say. So then he went to Srila Maharaj. Srila Maharaj said, no, I have nothing to say. And then he came back and told Prabhupada. He said he has nothing to say. Then he said, okay, ask him, does he have anything to inquire? And then he said, no, I have nothing to inquire. And he went back. And he said, ask him if there is any purpose for which he has come. So then he went to Srila Maharaj and he asked him, and he said, yes. No one does anything without some purpose. He went back and told him. And then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, so ask him then what is his purpose for which he has come. And he went and asked him, and then Srila Maharaj said, I have come to receive all of your grace, all of your blessings. He went back and told Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was pleased by this, and then he walked over to him, and he began to inquire, what is your name, where are you from? And in this way a very sweet exchange began between him and Srila Maharaj. So now, Srila Maharaj at that time, as the oldest son, on the deathbed of his father actually was very dejected when he died because of Srila Maharaj's disinterest in all these material things. But on his deathbed, he asked him, can you please promise to me that you will marry and that you will lead our family, you will take Srila Maharaj. He didn't really want to promise that, because when you promise that on the deathbed, you have to follow it. So then he did it in a modified way. He said, I will try to follow your instruction. So anyway, after the disappearance of his father, then his mother pressured him, and he had to get married. But actually, he wanted to be a sannyasi. He had no interest in this at all. But nevertheless, 6 years went by. So he never had any children, but he was married for 6 years, and he had all this family responsibility. So then, when he met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati at that time, he began to think, oh, if only I did not have my wife, and she was not in this world. And then a thought came through his mind, that maybe if she died, then I would be free to go to the lotus feet of Prabhupada. So then, he went to Navadvip, Mayapur, and there was the Gaur Purnima festivities at that time, Gaur Purnima festival. So Srila Maharaj attended that festival. and he was completely amazed by the atmosphere there. There were thousands of people there in the Sri Chaitanya Mat in Mayapur. And everywhere there was preaching going on. And there were so many people, brahmacharis, sannyasis, and so forth. He said it was like a beehive, like a very busy place, beehive of activity. And then he listened to Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati at the end of the entire festival. And at that time, he was struck by the words that he spoke. Because Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada told to all the people there, he says, don't cheat me. Now you have come. Don't cheat me. So Srila Sridhar was thinking, why has he said this? These people have come of their own free will. They've attended a festival, now they're going home. Why is he saying, don't cheat me? Then he listened, and Srila Prabhupada explained that now you have come. You have come to take shelter of Krishna. You have come giving up your family for some days, and you have come to me. And now I am going to lead you in this direction. But now you will leave this festival and you will go home and you will forget everything and you will get involved in your ordinary mundane lives and your family affairs and so forth and forget Krishna. So don't cheat me. So Srila Sridhar understood, yes, this personality is my guru. And then he resolved there and then, I will accept him as my guru, only him. So then, Srila Sridhar Maharaj went back to his home. When he returned home, his wife had fallen ill. And the family was very, very concerned. Within 3 days, she left this world. Now Srila Sridhar Maharaj thought, now I am free to go, almost free. But his mother was still living. Very soon was the Kumbh Mela festival in Allahabad, Prayag. His mother went there. She was also ailing in health. And there she left her body. So now Srila Sridhar Maharaj thought, okay, wife is gone, mother and father gone. Now what is holding me back? So now he thought, what to do? And he consulted with some of the Vaishnavas in Mayapur. And they told him, look, Krishna has already done so much for you. He has already eliminated 2 major obstacles for you to come to the lotus feet of Prabhupada. Now, if you don't do, maybe that opportunity will disappear and for the rest of this life you will have no chance. So Srila Sridhar said, yes, I will now take this chance. And he came there with 2 of his brothers. They stayed in a hostel nearby. But he said, my brothers returned home crying. So this is the story of how Srila Sridhar Maharaj came into the Gaudiya Math. From the very beginning, he was given service by Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta to edit his books. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he said, I was not very fond of this work of editing. I liked the preaching field. I liked kirtan. So immediately, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada sent him on a journey to, at that time, Madras, Chennai, current day Chennai, and they opened up a temple there. And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj recounts about all the different services all over India, from Delhi, Kurukshetra, Bombay, Chennai, all over. He traveled and preached and helped to establish temples during the time of Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he had so much regard for Srila Sridhar Maharaj's preaching. Even his godbrothers, they were very astonished and astounded at his preaching ability. And he was not so much of a collector, of a canvasser, but he tells the story. He tells the story that once he was sent to South India, Chennai, and there he was approaching the king of that time, the king of that province, and asking him for a big donation so that they could establish a temple. And the king told him, but you have to go to this other city because there is another person who releases the funds. So he went there to that city. And that person, he was very atheistic, a non-believer. And he was only interested in doing charity work. So he did not approve to give these funds. Then Srila Sridhar Maharaj thought to himself, this situation will require very strong medicine. So he began to preach to this person. And he began to quote the verse, the famous verse from Ras Leela chapter, Vikriditam Prajamadubiridam Chavishno, Shadhan Vitam Anushinayad Atavarnayadya, Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Pratilabhya Kama Hridroga Ashu Apahanotya Chirena Dira. And from that verse, he began to give into the heart of this person a very clear understanding that only by surrender to Krishna, only by giving complete oral reception to the pastimes of Krishna, can the hrid road, the disease of material lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy, be removed from our hearts. And this person was so struck with wonder, he began to cry tears, and he said, yes, I will sign and give you this money, and he released the money. And that way Srila Sridhar Maharaj helped to construct that temple there. So all during the years from 1925 until 1936, Srila Sridhar Maharaj became more and more intimate and close with Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And in his final days, on the final day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's presence in this world, his room was filled with his most intimate followers and disciples, and they were singing kirtans. At that time, Srila Prabhupada requested that Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj, who he had given sannyas to in 1930, that he should sing Shri Rupa Manjari Pada. This is one of the highest, if not the highest, glorification of our Rupanuga Acharya, Shri Shri Rupa Goswami Pada. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta wanted to hear him singing, although Srila Sridhar Maharaj was not a kirtan leader, generally. But, in this case, in a hesitating way, he began to sing. But then he was stopped from the singing because he was singing in a kind of hesitating way. And the secretary, at that time Kunja Bihari, later Bhakti Vilas Tirtha Maharaj, he requested another brahmachari to sing, who was actually a very, very exalted kirtaniya. And that brahmachari later became Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. And so he began to sing this song, Shri Rupa Manjari Pada. But Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta stopped him. He said, no, I do not want to hear the melody and the voice. I want to hear Sridhar Maharaj singing. So in the presence of all Vaishnavas there, Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj began to sing this great song in the final moments of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's presence. And it was noted by Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj that everyone there felt that there was like a mystic atmosphere in which Srila Prabhupada was giving entrance to Srila Sridhar Maharaj into the kunja of Shri Rupa Manjari. That was their feeling. They all attested to that. But when they told this to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he said, no, I only feel that perhaps I was posted at the entryway to the kunja. Because the name that he was given in sannyas is Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar. And Rakshak means protector. So this was his position all throughout his life. That whatever was deviating one iota from the line of Srila Rupa Goswami, from the line of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and all of our Rupanuga Acharyas, Srila Sridhar Maharaj would immediately point that out, and immediately he would correct it, right to his very final days in this world. So this divine personality, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he had a very extraordinary relationship with another extraordinary Vaishnava disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, none other than our beloved Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And I want to speak a little bit about this, because this is very, very significant for all of us. You know that Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, my beloved Gurudev, he was in household life. And after the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada, he was still doing business. He had established a house in Calcutta. And there were two houses. In one of them he lived with his family, and in the other house, on the ground level, there was a shop, pharmaceutical shop that he opened up. Then on the upper level, he gave that as a residential facility for any Vaishnavas, especially from Gaudiya Math and his godbrothers who would come. And he would post them there. And this went on for more than 10 years. During that, Maharaj used to come there from Navadvip. Very often he used to come and visit. And over a period of 10, 11 years, they had many, many deep exchanges, philosophical exchanges. So Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, later on, after he had gone to the Western countries and succeeded in starting the most powerful spiritual revolution ever seen in the world, to spread the teachings of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he started the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And later on, after some years, he returned to India. And in 1972, in Mayapur Dham, he was sitting in the new construction of his temple, Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir, and his godbrother, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, came and sat next to him. Then, at that time, Srila Prabhupada began to introduce, who is this person? And he began to explain how he had had this very, very intimate relationship with Srila Sridhar Maharaj. How Srila Sridhar Maharaj was always his advisor. How Krishna favored, Krishna liked that he should prepare me for my world preaching mission. And at that time, he also told Srila Sridhar Maharaj that Prabhupada wanted you so much to be able to preach all throughout the world. But since you cannot do that, now you are in your old age, I want that you should come and live in our temple here in Mayapur. People from all over the world will come. Very many educated people, highly cultured people will come from all different countries around the world. And it will be very beneficial for them if they can have your association. So at that time, Srila Sridhar Maharaj told, I will consider to come there sometimes. So actually, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he considered Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj to be his Siksha Guru, his instructing spiritual master. Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj also wrote an offering, a Vyasa Puja offering to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, calling him Guru Maharaj. He also accepted him as a Siksha Guru. And many, many personalities, even our most exalted Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, accepted him as his sannyas guru. He had so much regard for him. So such was the nature of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. So, in my own spiritual life, when I was very young, at the age of 18, I came to the lotus feet of my Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, and joined his movement in America. And when I entered his temple, the first time, there was a magazine called Back to Godhead magazine. And I picked it up and I began looking at it. And the first article in that magazine was titled Descent of the Holy Name. Yeah, Descent of the Holy Name. And it just so happened that that article was written by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Actually, it was spoken by him. And Achyutananda, Prabhupada's disciple, was living with Srila Sridhar Maharaj at that time. And so he took notes and he gave this article for publication in Back to God magazine. So it's interesting that the very first moment that I entered the temple, and the first article that comes to me is by the person who in the future would play such an important spiritual role in my life. So actually, from 1970, when I first joined the movement, till 1977, Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj, spread the Krishna consciousness movement far and wide all throughout the world. And during those 7 years, many times I would hear the name of Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj being mentioned by my Prabhupada. And one time, in 1975, there was a bulletin board outside of our temple where letters were pinned up there. You could read these letters. And there was a newsletter. And the question was being asked to our Prabhupada. He said, oh Prabhupada, now you are going very quickly in your publication of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, if you complete the Bhagavatam, what will you do after that? What will you translate? So, he replied, the books of the Goswamis, they need to be published. And then he asked him the question, but if you are not able to complete the Srimad Bhagavatam before you leave this world, is there anyone else who can continue this work? And then he told there are only 2 persons on the planet today who can write purports to the Srimad Bhagavatam in the English language. Myself and my godbrother, Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj. Therefore, after the disappearance of our Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, then the GBC, the governing body, disciples of Prabhupada, of ISKCON, they approached Srila Sridhar Maharaj and they requested him to please continue the Bhagavatam along with Prabhupada's Sanskrit secretary, Pradumna Prabhu. But later on that was changed by them, as many other things were also changed by them. Also, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, while he was present in this world, while my Prabhupada was still present, in his final days, he went there to Srila Sridhar Maharaj's temple in Navadvip, and he asked him, please come and live in Mayapur, because I am feeling a very great need to consult with someone, but I do not see anyone to consult with. So now I have come here. I don't know how much longer I can continue. I want that you will come and live there. You will not have to do anything. You will not have to move by your own physical energy. They are making a house for me. And they are going to put an elevator, a lift in the house. So you will not have to do anything with your own energy. Please come, give the instruction and I will make the arrangements. And also, that temple, the temple meaning what is being built right now in Mayapur, the biggest Krishna temple in the world, in Mayapur, which was what Srila Prabhupada wanted to do, is being constructed now by ISKCON, extraordinary, incredible structure. That temple is called the Temple of the Vedic Planetarium. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj actually is the one who suggested this idea to our Prabhupada. Why? Because it was one of his favorite literatures, Brihad Bhagavatamritam of Srila Sanatana Goswami, where he describes Gopakumara and his journey to all the different levels of the materials and spiritual worlds. And he wanted to depict that in his own temple. But he said to our Prabhupada, he said, I have this idea, but I could not do it. Then our Prabhupada told to him, he said, yes, I will do that in our temple, and it will be done under your direction. So that incredible project came from the brainstorm of Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj. So now, after the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, then, just before he disappeared, the GBC members came to him and asked him, is there anyone that we can go to after you leave this world, that we can get guidance from? And then he said, yes, you can go to my godbrother, Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj. So confirmed completely by him. Then immediately after his disappearance, in the next Gaur Purnima festival, the GBC members came there with a committee, and they approached Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And the only person who they can go to he has now left. So this is a very important question. Who can we now take shelter of? So they have many questions regarding Guru Tattva, because now so many of them wanted to start to become gurus, start to initiate disciples. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj was asked so many very good questions. And his whole dialogue was recorded. It was also transcribed. And then it was sent by them all over the world to every ISKCON temple in the world. And at that time in 1978, I was in Africa, in Nairobi, Kenya. And when I received this paper, just a few months after the disappearance of Prabhupada, and I began to read the words of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, it was a very long dialogue, then I became struck with wonder, and I said, yes, this personality, he's the one. And I said, I'm going to go and see him. I have to meet him. I have to meet him. So the next year, I went to India in 1979. And while I was there in Mayapur, I began to inquire, where is this person living? Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj. And one of my Bengali godbrothers told me, oh, he just lives on the other side of the Ganga. He has a mat, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat mat. I go there sometimes to visit there. I said, really? You go there? He said, yes, yes. I can also bring you, but don't tell anyone that we're going. I said, what? Don't tell anyone? Why not? Prabhupada has recommended that we all go to him. And he said, yeah, but you know, the GBC, they've passed a rule that no one should go to him except for the GBC members themselves. I said, what? I'll never follow this. Never! And then we went across the Ganga, and I climbed the stairway to the room of Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj. And as I was climbing the stairway, my heart was beating, because now I'm going to see another pure devotee. And I felt like I was entering into the domain of some very, very exalted ancient sage with all knowledge, who was so intimate to my Guru Maharaj. And there, at that time, Srila Sridhar Maharaj was lying on a bed. It was the summertime, very hot weather, and it was evening. It was like 7 o'clock in the evening, very dark, and the stars and the moon were shining. And so I saw his form lying there. He was very old, and he was invalid at the time. And he was being fanned by one of his disciples, and a couple of devotees were sitting around his bed in the open air. So we approached and I paid my Dandavat pranams. And then I sat next to him, just this far from his lotus face. And then my Bengali godbrother introduced. He said, yes, I brought my godbrother from America, and he came to meet you for the first time. Then Srila Sridhar Maharaj began speaking in the most eloquent, sweet, beautiful English. So poetical, so from the heart. I was drowning in an ocean of nectar emanating from his lotus mouth. And he was glorifying the name of Krishna. And he was quoting Rupa Goswami and his famous verse where he's telling the 2 syllables Krishna, Tunde Tundavali, Ratamvitamate Tundavali Labdaye. This very beautiful poetry of Rupa Goswami. And he was describing that when the 2 syllables Krishna enter my ears, I want to have millions of ears. When the 2 syllables Krishna are chanted on my tongue, I want to have millions of tongues to relish. And when the name of Krishna enters the core of my heart, the courtyard of my heart, all of my senses become overpowered, and I become inert. Such is the power. I do not know how much power is in the name of Krishna. So he was speaking in this way, and I was completely overwhelmed. After that, he told us to come on another day, and I came once, twice, with another godbrother, and I interviewed him, I listened to his Harikatha, and then after that, a couple of years passed by. And during that time, there were many problems in ISKCON. Many problems concerning the new gurus in ISKCON. And this is a long story, which I don't have time to tell right now. But I'm summarizing it and telling that there was a great misunderstanding because now some of the gurus were actually falling down. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj was being consulted continually by so many of the leaders of ISKCON. There are many tape recordings of Srila Sridhar Maharaj giving them advice, speaking Harikatha, many hundreds of hours. And now they were taking shelter of him. But because of politics, because of immaturity, because of misconceptions, within 1 year they started to see him as a threat. They started to see him as competition. They started to misinterpret his words. What were his words? He told them that the society consciousness, the institution, and the actual God consciousness, spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness, they are two separate things. Society consciousness versus God consciousness. There's a chapter in his book, which all of you can read, Sri Guru and His Grace, where he talks about this very, very clearly. And at that time, he was just expressing Guru Tattva. He was expressing philosophical conceptions. And then he said, I am not interested in the form. I am interested in the substance. He gave an example. A Bengali proverb. What is more important? The nose or the breath? What is more important? The nose on your face or the breath that you breathe through your nose? And naturally we would say, the breath is more important. So he said, in the same way, the institution is only a facility for broadcasting the actual essence, the transcendental knowledge coming down in Guru Parampara. And that is coming down also in a zigzag way. What does that mean? He said it is not a straight line. Just like some persons, they try to emphasize Diksha Guru Parampara. Many Sahajiya lines are like that. That only Diksha Guru, Diksha Guru, Diksha Guru uninterrupted. But what is the quality of those Diksha Gurus? So many of them are completely mundane. They're simply Kula Gurus. Or Smarta Brahmins even. So what is the potency of that Diksha mantra? So our Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told, this is the Bhagavad Parampara. This is not Diksha Guru Parampara. Bhagavad Parampara is the living Guru Parampara. Living. Why? Because the absolute truth is completely alive in the hearts of the Mahabhagavatas. And even if they're separated by many years, that zigzag line flows from one to the other, and we can disregard the so-called Diksha Gurus in between. Our Gurudev and Param Gurudev have also written articles about this. The Bhagavad Parampara. You can read it in the biography of Param Gurudev. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, I am not interested in the form that is holding the substance. Because if the form becomes degraded, if the form deteriorates, then the substance is still remaining, and the form can be given up. And then he said, I am not a form maker, I am a form breaker. So the ISKCON leaders heard this, and then they completely misinterpreted what he was telling. And they said, oh, he wants to break the form. He wants to break the form of the institution of ISKCON. Oh, he's a threat to us now. Now the real truth has come out. Oh, now he wants to usurp Prabhupada's position and take his position in all of this nonsense. And so they committed a severe offense against him, and they wrote their little, their decisions by their GBC, their resolution, to ban him. And now the most inauspicious period began in that institution. And one by one, all of them began to fall down, fall down, fall down. And it continues up to the present day. So this is not the end of the history. We also, all of us know, that was also done the same thing to our Gurudev. Same thing, same thing. They came to him, heard from him, received so much from him, and then disconnected. This is called the form needs to be broken. And that's what our Gurudev did. He went all around the world. And that's what Srila Sridhar Maharaj did without going physically all around the world. He sat in his chair in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Navadvip, and he spoke this transcendental nectar. Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj told, just like a beautiful fragrant lotus flower that is so powerful fragrance in the middle of a forest, of a jungle. And because the fragrance is going out in all directions, all the animals are coming, all the bees, the birds are coming there, being attracted by this fragrance. Similarly, Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar sat in Navadvip Dham, and everyone came to him. And from there, that fragrance has emanated in the form of his books that have gone out through the whole world, that are translated into many languages. Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj told, he said, what Srila Sridhar Maharaj spoke in his final 11 years, from 1977 to 1988, what he spoke in the English language, and was recorded, and books are made from that. He said this was unparalleled practically, what he previously spoke and gave. Therefore, his English books should be translated into Bengali language and distributed. This is the power of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj is loved all over the world. I can tell you this from my own experience of traveling everywhere since his samadhi. And I meet devotees all the time who are saying that, oh, Sridhar Maharaj, he's my Siksha Guru. I've never met him, just like Prakashat Prabhu told. He never met him physically, but how his teachings helped. This is the nature of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's divine Brahman. Anyone who gives oral reception to his teachings will be struck with wonder. Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj told, he said, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, his realizations are so high that if you hear them and you try to comprehend them, you will faint. So this is the personality, the Guru of Gurus. Very humble personality, very self-deprecating personality, sitting in Navadvip Dham. And we were so amazed because he's like the topmost learned personality in our Sampradaya. And at that time in the 1980s, he was just sitting readily available to us. Anyone could approach him and sit with him for hours. So that personality continued giving his instructions and his guidance. And in my spiritual life, he completely maintained and supported me. In the deterioration of the movement of my Guru Maharaj, the institutional side of it, and all the blunders and all the apparats that they created, I was protected from this. Because I was forced out of the movement in 1984 by the leaders. For one reason only. Because I wanted to go and hear from the lotus mouth of the pure devotee Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Maharaj. So I was told, no, if you go there, you cannot come here. This is bogus. To tell that you cannot go where you are finding the absolute truth. Whoever says this, they are in paranoia. No one should restrict. Because why? Srila Sridhar was told in Sri Guru and His Grace, the divine flow of the Absolute is coming down. And it will come here to this person without our knowledge. It may appear suddenly in this place, in this person. That same flow that we can recognize from our hearts, that is representing the Siddhanta of our Gurudev, the Siddhanta of our whole disciplic succession, that same divine flow, we can recognize it here. Therefore, Srila Sridhar said, you go there, you run there, and you bow your head there. And then, if that same flow then begins to go to another place, after that place, and you recognize it in that Vaishnava, then you run there and you bow your head there. This is the eternal freedom of our Jivatma. To go where sadhus are, that can touch our hearts, that can elevate us, that can enlighten us within our heart with divine transcendental knowledge. This is not a sectarian movement. The movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is the most broad, far-reaching, universal conception in the whole universe. And those personalities of our Sampradaya, in whose hearts this transcendental knowledge is situated, they are worshipable by all. It doesn't matter which mat they are in, which section that they are in, which institution that they are in. If they are representing the divine teachings of our Guru Maharaj, of our Guru Parampara, we accept them, we invite them. And our Gurudev also told, after my disappearance, if there are any very good quality, pure Vaishnavas, you invite them into our assembly and we should hear from them. So this is my very feeble attempt to glorify Srila Bhakti Rajak Sridhar Maharaj. I want to try to inspire all to take shelter of his body, to experience for yourself, if you haven't already done that. Because if you've already done that, then you're hooked. You'll immediately become hooked. But if you haven't done that yet, open up his books, read them, and find what incredible, wonderful flow of divine nectar and essence of this transcendental knowledge is there. So practical. Every question, everything you need to know about Sharanagati, how to surrender to Krishna, everything you need to know about all the processes of bhakti, Srila Sridhar Maharaj has given that perfectly. So try to understand this divine personality whom we are worshipping today, and how he is the Guru of Gurus, and how by worshipping him on this day of Kartik, every year we have this opportunity and hear his glories, that we are so much benefited, and our Kartik parikrama becomes successful by glorifying such a pure Vaishnava. Gaur Premanandi. Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj ki Jadiya Avirvav Mahamahotsav Titi ki Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj ki Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Nitai Gaur Premanande Vancha Kalpatarugascha Kripa Sindhuve Cha Patitanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo. We're going to perform Pushpanjali now. There's a short announcement they're asking me